Hello my beautiful lovelies, hi, it's Emmy. Welcome back to another You May What, where I make some interesting recipes. Today's recipe is do-it-yourself goldfish crackers. So for those of you that don't have goldfish crackers where you live, goldfish crackers are toddler fodder extraordinaire here in the US. They are small little crackers that are shaped like fish that are filled with cheesy flavor. Both of my toddler sons, along with toddlers all over the US, love these goldfish crackers. So when I saw a recipe on how to make them in this book called Classic Snacks Made from Scratch, I knew I had to attempt it, if not just for them. Some of the other things I've bookmarked are mint Milanos, which were my favorite cookies as a kid, animal crackers, Hostess chocolate cupcakes, nacho cheese Doritos. So let me know in the comments below if any of these recipes sound good to you and which one you'd like to see next, and I shall see if I can attempt it. And if you happen to like these recipe testing videos, be sure to subscribe for more making. Alright, so let's go into the kitchen and I'll show you how I made these. So first we're going to begin by making our cookie cutter. You can of course purchase one, but I decided to make one. So get yourself an aluminum can and then you're going to pierce it and then just cut it so you have a nice flat piece of aluminum. Be careful here, the edges are very sharp. Next, you're going to cut yourself a strip that's about 3/4 of an inch wide and about 4 inches long. So I'm going to show you two techniques to get rid of the sharp edge of the aluminum. So one of them you can just use some tape. I'm just using some silver duct tape here. Packaging tape will work too. And just cut yourself a strip and fold it over one of the edges of your aluminum. Just like that. The other method is to use a pair of needle nose pliers on your fingers to fold over and crimp over an edge. Make sure you burnish it down really flat, and that gives you a more finished edge. So next on a piece of paper, you're going to draw a fish, or you can do what I did and trace an outline of a goldfish. And then working slowly, you're going to take your strip of aluminum with the sharp edge pointing down and carefully crimp and fold along the edge of your drawing. Then just use a little piece of tape to stick the ends together. Finally, take a piece of sandpaper and rub your cookie cutter over that so it takes off the really sharp edge of the aluminum. And there you go, a little tiny goldfish cookie cutter. So we're going to begin with shredding 1 cup of orange sharp cheddar cheese. Make sure you do this on a fine grater. To a large bowl, add your cheese, a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, and a 1/2 cup of cake flour. Next, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of cheese powder, a teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And then mix this all really well. So to this mixture, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of whole milk and 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. So stir to moisten and then use your hands to knead this into a dough. Once your dough is formed, cover it and let it rest for at least 10 minutes, or you can wrap it and store it in the refrigerator till you're ready to use it. The recipe says to roll this out as thin as possible, at least 1/8 of an inch. Be careful not to go too thin, otherwise your crackers will burn. Next, we're going to use our cutter and just cut out all our little tiny fishes and place them on a parchment-lined cookie sheet, and you can pack them in pretty close together because they don't spread. If you want, you can use a toothpick to add a little smile. Then bake in the oven at 375 for 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure you keep an eye on them because they brown really quickly. Then allow them to cool completely, and there you go, goldfish crackers. Okay, so we are back with our goldfish crackers. So I really wanted these to be nice and crisp, so I baked them until they were so. But I was a little disappointed about this kind of speckled nature of them. But they are very crispy sounding, and they did puff up. And I also was disappointed that these weren't as yellow or orange as the original. So if I make this recipe again, I think I would include a little bit of turmeric to give it more of a yellowish color. Here's my little bowl of them. Itadakimasu. I definitely rolled them out thin enough because they have a nice crunch. They have a touch of onion powder in there, so it makes it taste very familiar, but I think they still could be cheesier. Maybe a little bit more of that cheddar cheese powder. Pretty signature goldfish flavor and pretty good texture as well. The bottom one is the original and this is my homemade one. Let's have original first. Delicious. Great crunch, nice and light, but substantial, full of cheesy flavor. little bit toasted, and has a slight kind of oniony, cheesy flavor. Let's have the homemade version. A little bit different flavor when you have them side by side. Still has that little hint of onion, good cheese flavor, but not as strong. And the toasty flavor is a little bit different. And of course the texture is slightly different as well. It's still crunchy, but it doesn't have that signature kind of hollow crunch that a goldfish cracker has. And maybe that has something to do with the mechanization process of making goldfish in the factory, or maybe there's some other technique that I could have done to get that little hollow center. But if you want a fun little rainy day project to do with your kids, this might be the one. This does take a long time because you're dealing with a lot of little crackers, but still pretty fun. So let me know in the comments below what recipe you'd like to see me test next, and thanks you guys as always for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Don't forget to leave me a comment, subscribe, and like, and I shall see you in my next video. Toodaloo, take care, bye. The whole cup. Now you know why the mayonnaise was so important, because not only for flavor, but it's going to make our cheese stick. One of these things does not look like the other. One of these things doesn't belong.